Healthy habits.
On Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
Really interesting discussion this afternoon relating to a study that has come out showing that the UAE's cancer rate is 5 times higher in young adults than in the UK and the US. And it's a distressing find, to be honest, but really interested to explore this further and find out some of the contributing factors and obviously educate all of us on how this can be avoided in the future. Dr. Humaid Al Shamsi is the Director of VPS Oncology Services here in the UAE. He's also the President of the Emirates Oncology Society and a Professor at the University of Sharjah, the College of Medicine. So who better to find out more with this afternoon than Dr. Humaid? Join the conversation. Let us know if you've got any questions or indeed concerns relating to cancer in yourself or perhaps someone in your family. Dr. Humaid, thank you for being with us today. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm fine, thank you. And thank you also for highlighting the issue and the topic of cancer, which many people don't like to talk about. But definitely we need to discuss, highlight the challenges, the factors, so we can, take care of ourselves and our families.
I think that's exactly right. And unfortunately, there's still an awful lot of taboo, but also fear around getting checked. And of course, there's been a safety factor to that in some people's minds over the course of the last 18 months, not wanting to go into clinics, go into hospitals, even if you do find a lump or there's been a symptom that has been worrying. Can you explain a little bit about the impact of the pandemic on cancer diagnoses and indeed treatment?
Certainly. First of all, as you mentioned, that nobody that would like to go to the hospital for any reason, especially when it comes to cancer. Nobody would like to think about cancer as a real risk for all of us. None of us is actually immune to cancer, and we have to think about the cancer as a risk factor, or actually as a risk for all of us and our families. We don't want people to worry, all the time, but to consider it something there, and we have to do something about it. Regarding the pandemic effect, we did publish a paper actually last year, in the middle of the pandemic, if we can call this the end of the pandemic, that, we highlighted that, there are a significant number of patients actually that are delaying going to the hospital for obvious reasons. They don't want to go to the hospital because of the risk of the COVID-19. And this was mainly before the vaccine, being implemented. And we did see actually in our clinic more and more patients coming with advanced cancer because they are afraid of going to the hospital. They want to delay it until after the pandemic is over. But the reality is, if you have any symptoms that are vague or suspicious for cancer, which we can also highlight and discuss further if the time allows, you have to go and see your doctor without any delay.
Mm-hmm. That early diagnosis is so crucial, and I think that's really important to highlight. Can you explain, just very briefly, really some of the most common or indeed concerning red flags that people need to be tuned into in their bodies?
Okay. The problem with cancer symptoms are they can be very vague actually and non-specific. For example, just being tired, and most people will say that, and that's
we're all tired, doctor.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, that, if you're tired more than usual and you're not getting, back to normal, even if you are getting enough sleep, if you're doing your exercise, your other factors like hemoglobin, your vitamin D's are fine, but you're still not feeling well, you really have to be checked. If you're losing weight and there's not intentional weight loss, this is also a red flag. If you're sweating at night, heavy sweat at night, this is also a red flag. And also if you have any bleeding from anywhere, like, with the urine, with the sputum, especially if you're a smoker, all these are red flags that, have to be taken into consideration. And I should also mention, if you have any abdominal pain that's vague, constant, ongoing, and increasing with intensity, they have to be taken into consideration because abdominal pain, one of the most common, missed symptoms that, we see in our clinics.
We're going to be talking about, unfortunately, that spike in cancers in young people, by which I mean those aged 20 to 49. Dr. Humaid with us this afternoon to answer any questions that you might have or concerns. So please do get in touch. And I know with the health issues, it can be personal and private. So please do be anonymous if that helps you have the confidence to pick up your phone and message us on 4001. So up next, what are some of the most common cancers in that age group? Finding out.
Join the conversation on Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
Only on Dubai Eye 103.8.
Are you in the market for a car? High quality, pre-owned cars. We deliver straight to your home. 7-day return policy. Change your mind, full refund. Buy online cars 24. Download the app now. Buy online cars 24.
Business is all about making the right decision. Choose Broadway Advisory and we'll help you make the right decisions at the right time. In these challenging times, outsource your accounting and VAT business needs to Broadway Advisory and increase your bottom line by reducing your costs by up to 50%. Broadway Advisory is your one-stop solution for all your SME business needs, specializing in accounting, VAT and cloud accounting software. Get in touch with us at info@broadwayadvisory.com.
Have you seen the big green building in JLT? It says The Box, Home and Business Storage or something.
Oh yes, that's the region's first purpose-built self-storage facility by The Box.
With individually lockable, climate-controlled units and 24/7 access at the heart of New Dubai, growing your home and business has never been easier. Call 800-THE-BOX or visit theboxme.com to reserve your spot today. The Box. Make room for tomorrow.
Jumeirah now has easy access to world-class healthcare services from American Hospital Dubai. Yes, right in your neighborhood at Galleria Mall. Now advanced healthcare is around you. We are wherever you are. For appointments, call 800-243-92 or visit ahdubai.com.
The secret to a glorious night's sleep isn't a secret at all. And it's not the bed. It's the cotton sheets that wrap around your body. Your bed linen has to be cool to sleep under. It's only good quality bed linen pillows and Christy towels you'll find at Linen Obsession to help you sleep through our hot, humid nights. Their experts will help you find linen to suit your style and your bed size, your budget. Visit linenobsession.ae.
If you love your rugby, then you'll love our brand new show on Dubai Eye 103.8. Tales from the Sand features in-depth interviews, warts and all, with some of the biggest names in the game.
What a drive from Delanio! Yes, Haskell! Away goes Brian Habena.
We'll be in conversation with them all over the next few months as we build up to this year's Emirates Dubai Sevens. Big names aplenty, telling their truths and revealing some of the dressing room secrets. Tales from the Sand, brand new to Dubai Eye 103.8, this Saturday at 2 p.m. Also available on all podcast platforms.
At Espace Real Estate, we buy, sell, and rent homes. But what is it that makes a property a home? It's a place where you laugh with family and friends, where you go to bed when your day ends. It's a place that's yours, where you feel safe. It's a place that your children call home. As the winner of Dubai's best large quality brokerage, Espace Real Estate is here to help. I'm Anna Ibar, Operations Director at Espace. Visit us at espace.ae.
Take advantage of the endless business possibilities this Expo. Set up a business now with Creative Zone. Creative Zone, because business setup is just the beginning. CreativeZone.ae.
The Dubai Opera Big Band is back. On the 2nd of September, join us to celebrate the legendary Frank Sinatra at Dubai Opera. Relive Sinatra's most iconic songs with a Dubai Opera Big Band featuring 25 of the very best jazz musicians and singers in the UAE and GCC. Be prepared to sing and fly back in time with the sound of Sinatra. Book your tickets now at DubaiOpera.com.
Join the conversation on Afternoons with Helen Farmer
on Dubai Eye 103.8.
Fantastic to have you with us this afternoon. It is our psychology chat after 4 o'clock today. So if you're struggling to set some boundaries, whether it's your boss, your mother-in-law, a friend that doesn't really value your friendship, we'll be telling you how with Dr. Thryer.
Healthy habits.
on Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
But now we're lucky enough to be joined by the President of the Emirates Oncology Society, Dr. Humaid Al Shamsi. He's also the Director of VPS Oncology Services here in the UAE and a Professor at the University of Sharjah, as we discuss really some quite alarming statistics that have come out. The Journal of Oncology Research Review and reports reveal that higher and increasing incidence of cancer in those amongst the age group of 20 to 49 here in the UAE. It's been a really well publicised report, to be honest, and for good reason, because hopefully by having conversations like this, we can encourage more people to get checked, even though, and I say this as someone who doesn't enjoy the doctor, no one really wants to go and get checked and ultimately hear that worst case scenario. But as Dr. Humaid mentioned earlier, that early diagnosis is so crucial when it comes to treatment and ultimately survival. And Doctor, I'm really curious about the common types of cancer that we're seeing in this age group. Do we have that data?
Of course. Let me just give you a quick background. I mean, when I practiced in the U.S. and Canada, before I came back, I moved back home to UAE, we used to see patients in their 50s and 60s with cancer. But when I moved to the UAE, I was seeing patients in their 20s and 30s, and I was really puzzled, like, what's going on? So I was looking for data. There was no data, so I decided to look into this myself. And we published this research, recently. And actually, this created some sort of, some concern from all the, oncologists and physicians, because it's true, and actually, this is what's happening in the ground. I'll give you quick numbers. The number of patients that with the cancer in UAE between the age of 20 and 49, there are around 45% of the all cancer cases in UAE, compared by 8% in USA. Again, 45% versus 8% in USA.
Why?
And Canada 8%, China 16%, India 26%. So these numbers actually are alarming, and I can't tell you why. Because first of all, we have a younger population. Most of our population are younger, and mostly they are workforce, working in the country and living in the country. But also, we are seeing more patients here because they are having also more access to care, and they have also ability to detect cancer. Other factors is our lifestyle. We are not great with diet. We're not great with exercise. We're not great in keeping our, our obesity rate down. If you look at the obesity rate in the country and the region, it's one of the highest in the world. And this is alarming because we have little kids, and in the future, that higher risk of having cancer because of their weight. Going back now to the most common cancers that we see in younger population, we do see a lot of breast cancers. And in fact, we did publish another paper 2 years ago, and we showed that 40% of all breast cancer in UAE are under the age of 50. The average age of cancer the cancer in UAE is around 48 years, compared with 68 in US. So there's a huge gap between around 20 years differences. Also, we see a lot of thyroid cancer in the region, which is also different than the Western countries. We see a lot of colorectal cancer and gastric cancer. And in fact, we did also publish some work about gastric cancer, which we are seeing more and more in younger population, most likely related to the H. pylori, which is the bacteria, which is very common in the region as well.
It's really upsetting, and it's not a conversation. It is. It really is. You're talking there, late 40% in that age group compared to 8% in the US. It's staggering, but it is only through reports and hard work on behalf of yourself and conversations like this today that we can really highlight this. And sometimes having unpleasant shocks can motivate you into taking action, whether that is a check or just a conversation with your doctor. So, Dr. May, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. And thank you, Jess, for getting in touch, saying every year near October, my family and I go through so much stress when I have to go for breast screening. The reason: my mum passed away with breast cancer. The treatment and journey was traumatic and painful. I delayed screening last year due to fear of exposure at COVID at hospitals. It's not worth taking a risk and delaying screening. Gather the courage and go for it, because it's so much better to detect issues early and have the better chances of treatment and cure. Thank you. I think that couldn't have been better put. We are continuing this conversation this afternoon, speaking next to a breast cancer survivor who, upon diagnosis, decided to look at a different route.